Are you recording?
Yes, he's being laid down in bright, immobile peace and bathed in wells of pure spiritual light. It wandered in wide fields of wisdom self, lit by the rays of an everlasting sun.
And we talked about that last time. I think we went through
Yeah.
the subtle self also. I believe I read that to you.
Hmm.
Even his body's subtle self.
Yeah,
So maybe you just can continue reading now.
sure. Even his body's subtle self within could raise the earthly parts towards higher things and feel on it the breath of heavenlier air. And I think last time you told me earthly parts were the mind and the body. Uh,
The earthly parts, yes,
uh Yeah.
the earthly parts of the mind and the body, and they're being raised towards
Hmm.
higher things. And
Correct.
he even feels on the earthly parts the breath of heavenly air. And
Hmm.
so already it journey now. This is his body's subtle self, you see, because
Hmm.
we see that the sentence begins, even his body's subtle self within could raise the earthly parts. So his body's subtle self is what could raise the earthly parts towards
Hmm.
higher things. And the body's subtle self could feel on it the breath of heavenlier air. So
Hmm.
when we go back, we can make the connections more easily.
Right.
Okay. So
Already it journeyed towards divinity, buoyed upon winged winds of rapid joy, upheld to a light it could not always hold. It left mind's distance from the truth supreme and lost life's incapacity for bliss.
it's an interesting line, very interesting. Lost life's incapacity for bliss.
Mm,
It always seems that humanity prefers sadness and suffering. Almost all except three of Shakespeare's plays are all about darkness, hate,
mm,
killing, suicide, and
mm,
most poets would tend towards negativity also, I think.
mm,
Many poets, except the greatest ones. So, this incapacity for bliss that life
mm,
has is,
mm,
for me, it's because we dwell so much in contraries and in paradoxes and in dualities, and that causes us to lose this capacity for bliss.
mm,
We have that capacity for bliss, but it turns
mm,
into an incapacity for bliss.
mm, mm, mm,
Live our lives, our arguments with
mm,
others, our this unease around certain people, all of those things. So let's
mm.
continue now because it's very important we see that he's going to be released from ignorance.
Okay. All now suppressed in us began to emerge. Thus came his soul's release from ignorance, his mind and body's first spiritual change.
So when he says all now suppressed in us, it means in humanity.
Oh, okay.
So it began to emerge
Mm,
because his soul's release came out
mhm,
of ignorance. And that was his mind and body's first spiritual change. Now, what happened from then on? This
mm,
is very powerful.
mm. Okay. A wide God knowledge poured down from above, a new world knowledge broadened from within.
Broadened.
Broadened, okay? A new world knowledge broadened from within. His daily thoughts looked up to the true and one. His commonest doings welled from an inner light.
Oh, oh, look at all of these things that are coming through. First of all, we have two words hyphenated: God
Mm,
knowledge, world knowledge.
mm,
And we see that he begins the first two lines with a, the second two lines with
His,
his.
mm,
See how clear Sri Aurobindo is in this mantra. It has to come down by reading it aloud.
mm,
Read the mantra silently, it does not happen. It's a sound,
mm,
it's a sound thing that's the key here. So this wide God knowledge is pouring down from above, and from within this new world knowledge broadens. And then his daily thoughts looked up to the true and one. Ashwarya just got a message from Akshay Metas from Jumur. Always remember God within, and then everything you do will be perfect in a way. I'm just paraphrasing. So his daily thoughts looked up to the true and one. Notice that both are capitalized, true
mm,
and one.
mm, mhm,
His commonest doings welled from an inner light. I remember
mm,
one story where Sri Aurobindo has written a letter to someone, and he wouldn't ask anyone to do it. He would put the letter up and say, I guess this has to be mailed. And four or five of them would jump to get it and do it. But
okay.
that humility, that commonest thing that he did, just holding up that letter, welled from an inner light. So let's continue on.
Okay. Awakened to the lines that nature hides, attuned to her movements that exceed our ken, he grew one with a covert universe.
I think the British pronunciation is covered. Covered
Covert,
universe.
okay,
No,
covert,
no W there. Covered.
covert, covered,
Covered.
covered.
That's better. So he is awakened to all of these lines that nature hides because we don't understand nature,
Mm-hmm,
uh, how she destroys something to create something new. All of these things we don't see, but
mm-hmm,
he is awakened to these things, and he's even attuned to nature's movements,
mm-hmm,
movements that even exceed our knowledge. So we have attuned is to bring into harmony or accord, and we have ken, range of knowledge or perception, and understanding, exceed our understanding,
mm-hmm.
ken, attuned to her movements that exceed our ken. And therefore, he grew one with a covert universe. Covert is something secret or hidden from view or knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And ken means knowledge, sir, right?
It means more perception or understanding, but knowledge,
Okay,
I would say a range of knowledge or perception.
okay. All right. So, Narad sir, in a way, here it's what's happening is basically as the God knowledge has poured within him, and he's getting attuned. So, his thought process is basically aligned to the plan of the divinity in the universe, right?
Well, it's much more than his thought process. It's his
Okay,
entire being.
okay.
It's his inner being, you see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
We have,
things coming from him now will basically be as per the divine plan in a way, or
yes, well, you see, he says, thus came his soul's release from ignorance.
hmm,
So the soul is released from ignorance, but it's only his mind and body's first spiritual change. See, when we go back,
hmm,
now, after that, he starts telling us what's coming down: God knowledge, world knowledge, daily thoughts, common
thoughts.
doings, everything being awakened to the lines that nature hides, and even attuned to her movements that exceed our understanding.
Okay.
And therefore, he grew one with this.
His grasp surprised her mightiest energy springs. He spoke with the unknown guardians of the worlds. Forms he described our mortal eyes see not.
Okay,
Okay, I think that's the
describe
period
here.
here.
The word describe here means to see something by looking clearly at it, to discover it, to perceive something.
Hmm.
Forms he described. He,
Described. Oh, okay, it's not described. Okay.
yeah, so I want you to understand that's a new definition for you.
Right, right. Described. Okay.
Now we have a lot to go through here because this is a big one. His
Mm-hmm.
grasp, okay, we understand that, surprised her mightiest energy springs. He spoke with the unknown guardians of the worlds.
Mm.
Now, as guardians of the worlds, I've asked many people, and I'd like to give answers. First of all, Allah says they are the great gods, worlds from above. These higher powers and beings are unknown to man, and yet without them, the world could not be.
Mm-hmm.
Amal says that these subtle powers behind the surface reality were met by him, Ashwapati, because of the inner and higher consciousness he acquired, a consciousness by which he was open to a God knowledge and a world knowledge coming to him from above and from within.
Mm. Okay.
Now, Madhav Pandit has another understanding of it, and all of these are valid. They're very, very valid. He says this creation is an ordered manifestation of the divine. There is a central will, originating truth vision, impelling the whole movement. But also there are special emanations. Emanations are the gods from the
Mm-hmm.
divine, charged with specific tasks in the organization and maintenance of the emerging creation. These are the gods and goddesses, deities, powers, and personalities that are in charge of their respective domains on different levels of existence. Each one has its own guardians entrusted by the Supreme Creative Spirit with the work of building and furthering the manifestation of the particular truth principle that pushes for expression in that world formula. So when Indian people prayed to the gods, Krishna, Shiva,
Mm-hmm.
Ra,
Mm-hmm.
they are one of the emanations of the divine,
Mhm.
and they have a particular work to do.
Right.
And that work is this ordered manifestation. And so they work from above and
Mhm.
they pour that world knowledge now into Ashwapati. And therefore his grasp surprised even these gods' mightiest energy springs. And he would
Mhm.
speak with the unknown guardians of the worlds.
Okay.
Not only to speak with them, he could forms he descried our mortal eyes see not. Now he's going to go on telling us much more what he has seen and experienced. This is very,
Okay.
very important.
Mhm. And Narad sir, one thing I want to ask you, um, be- because it says, unknown guardians of the world. I mean, like you explained about, Krishna and Shiva in, as emanations of God. Within India, we also have this culture of every village having its own deity.
Mhm.
Every state has a Shakti Peeth.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
these
is
are
that like an order of divine
that's the emanations from the
emanations?
divine to those particular people in that particular area.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'll move on then. His wide eyes bodied viewless entities. He saw the cosmic forces at their work and felt the occult impulse behind man's will.
So his wide eyes are viewing these entities that have a body. They're not ghost like, they are embodied.
Mhm.
Then he saw the cosmic forces at their work. And he even felt the occult, remember, hidden impulse behind man's will. So I want to continue on a little bit more and then I'll have you read everything.
Okay.
But
Narad
all,
sir, just a little bit, elaboration on occult impulse would help. So,
well, what
occult.
it, we just saw that the occult was secret or hidden.
Okay, okay. Mhm.
Mother speaks of all her work with Teon in
Hmm,
Tlemcen in Algeria,
hmm, hmm,
learning the occult knowledge.
hmm,
She speaks of Madame Teon,
hmm.
who had such occult power that
Right.
would will the slippers to come to her bed.
Hmm,
Things like that. She would be able to have a melon sit
hmm.
on her stomach and take all the food within. The melon would be empty afterwards.
My
The-
God.
These are occult powers, hidden powers that are all available to us. Did I tell you the story of Dr. Sanyal and his not Alzheimer's, but his disease that was incurable?
No, I don't think. Uh,
Well, mother told him, "This is very important. You'll never forget this."
uh-huh.
It starts with a P, the word of the illness. Mother says to him, "Don't do anything." But he can't stand it. And he comes to New York, and I meet him in New York at the time of the World's Fair, and
Mhm.
to these surgeons who drill into his skull
Oh my God.
to heal him, and it doesn't do anything, does it at all? So, but he didn't listen to mother, and meeting one yogi after another. Can you heal me? Can you heal me? Parkinson's.
Uh-huh.
Parkinson's disease.
Mm.
None of them can help him. Finally, he gets to Satya Sai Baba and he asks Sai Baba, "Can you heal me?" And Sai Baba says very simply to him, "Why do you come to a 40-watt bulb when you have the sun?"
Mm.
I told you you'll never forget this.
Okay. Mm. Okay.
He saw the cosmic
Times.
forces at their work. He felt the occult impulse behind man's will. Well, what's that occult? What's that hidden impulse behind us? It's to evolve. It's to progress. It's not to just live in tamas. There is an occult will behind, an occult impulse behind our will. And that
Mhm.
occult impulse drives us to be better than what we are, to improve our lives and to make progress in our inner being.
Okay.
So let's read a few more lines and then I'll have you read everything.
Okay. Um, Time's secrets were to him an oft read book, the records of the future and the past, outlined their excerpts on the etheric page.
This etheric pertains to ether, and that is the sense that science doesn't quite have yet, but
Mhm.
body, mind, and life, and the five senses. So he's seeing that the secrets of time were like a book that he has read often. Now the
Mhm.
future and the past, the records of the future and the past, these are the Akashic records. The record in that realm of space where everything that has happened on Earth is recorded.
Wow. Okay.
Akashic records, the records of the future. And even
Can you say that word one more time, Narad sir? What record is that?
Akashic, Akashic.
Akashic. Okay. Akashic.
He had all of it. It all came
Okay.
to him.
Okay.
So I think it's time for you to read from the beginning.
Sure. Okay. We'll go back here. Okay. His being lay down in bright, immobile peace and bathed in wells of pure spiritual light. It wandered in wide fields of wisdom self, lit by the rays of an everlasting sun. Even his body's subtle self within could raise the earthly parts towards higher things and feel on it the breath of heavenlier air. Already it journeyed towards divinity, buoyed upon winged winds of rapid joy, upheld to a light it could not always hold. It left mind's distance from the truth supreme and lost life's incapacity for bliss. All now suppressed in us begin to emerge. Thus came his soul's release from ignorance, his mind and body's first spiritual change. A wide God knowledge poured down from above, a new world knowledge broadened from within. His daily thoughts looked up to the true and one. His commonest doings, welled from an inner light. awakened to the lines that nature hides, attuned to her movements that exceeds our ken.
No, that exceed our ken.
Oh, sorry. Attuned to her movements that exceed our ken, he grew one with the covert universe. His grasp surprised her mightiest energies' springs. He spoke with the unknown guardians of the worlds, forms he descried our mortal eyes see not. His wide eyes bodied viewless entities. He saw the cosmic forces at their work and felt the occult impulse behind man's will. I think that's where we stopped now. It's no, we moved on. Okay. Time's secret were to him an oft-read book, the records of the futures and the past, outline their excerpts on the etheric page.
No, on the etherics page.
Okay. Outline their excerpts on the etheric page.
And that's where we ended.
Yeah.
Good. All right. And see you next week. I'm glad the sound is so clear. It's
Yeah.
I hear everything. It's perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much, Narad sir. Glad it is resolved.
Um,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Every time, Narad sir, I have the session with you, my week goes well. So in case I miss something, I get so restless. I don't know. But your importance in my life has, I don't know, it is very important for me to have this session with you, Narad sir. So thank you so much. Thank you.